the first set of the draft. We'll do it all together, and then I'll leave you two to cast this very exciting game. Here we go. All right, let's see what's going to be banned first. So obviously, with yesterday, we have been seeing a lot of Lapras played as well, but most people have been sticking to that Zacian, Umbreon bans that we see quite a bit, and those all-rounders getting peppered in there as well. Let's see what the first ban is going to be. I'm going to predict Zacian. Oh, they're going to go for Ceruledge. Understandable with that one.
It's really surprising is I was going to say, is Ceruledge received the nerfs? Right, but the fact that it's still getting banned is just showing that it's still prominent in the meta, so it hasn't affected it all that much. However, a Zoroark ban. What do you think about this, Fu?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a respect ban for sure. I mean, we don't see as much Zoroark, I think, since Ceruledge was a thing in the past few weeks, but it seems like, there's definitely very strong Zoroark players on the side of Italy there that they don't want to go up against. And Umbreon to round off the ban jails here, which is, very, very expected. I think Umbreon has been untouched for a while, and it just proved to be very strong in terms of a flex pick between your supporter and defender roles as well.
I will say, yesterday, Klaus and Zervis put on an absolute show with Zoroark Comfy, so I'm really not surprised at that ban.
I mean, speaking about Umbreon as well, Umbreon we were looking at the stats before broadcast as well. Umbreon is the second most picked Pokemon that we've had during the UEC, so makes sense for this to get banned. However, I mean, we have Lapras making that comeback, Potato selecting that up first, and look, we're still going to have Trevenant being picked up along with Mamoswine, so I think in terms of Lapras and Greedent receiving the buffs, just the defender role at the moment is just further elevated. There's just so much room for choice. And I mean, obviously, those two supporters still being selected up first as well.
Yeah, I think whenever you see something like a Hooper on the enemy team, you do want to kind of match it with another A-Presser just to help out in the early game. And I think Eldegoss and Lapras proves to be such a good top path duo selection. It stops, people from coming in to stack. It has that slow effect with both its moves as well. I mean, I'm so glad, like we talked about before, that Lapras is now back in action, but not just as your conventional defender role as well. I mean, just 3 green backgrounds and 3 defenders already selected. What do you think about that, Tano?
Interesting. I mean, as you've mentioned, it is that pool really where you're not going to go wrong with anything that you pick up. I mean, we've also saw some Snorlax because of the recent buffs, but I do think it's really interesting. Italy have locked in that Mew. They've got a decent amount of range. What are we going to see Unity Country go for? It looks like they may go for that electric dragon bike. I'm excited for that one because it is so difficult for us to be able to hit it from the side of Italy with the range that they have. But Klaus is on Dodrio, guys. Come on. What more could you want out of that team?
Oh, it's definitely going to have to be wary of the amount of crowd control that is over on Unity Country. The fact that they're going to have to deal with a Buzzwole, a Trevenant, even a Blaziken as well, that could potentially shut it down. So Klaus is definitely going to have to be a bit more wary and time those moves a little bit more cautiously going into this comp. But I don't know, Miraidon for the XEX Pokemon, that's the only representation, and it received those nerfs as well. So do you think it's going to still be as strong as it was before?
I think Charge Beam is still quite insane, especially given the range, regardless of, if the damage got balanced a little bit. Something else interesting, though, talking about range, we do have a Mew, right, on the side of Italy, but they're going to be rocking that XP share. So we have a double defender carry from both of these paths, and I'm really keen to see whether Kree, actually pops off with this Mamo, because it has that potential to isolate with this Ice Fang anyone that comes in, close to that Mew. And looking at the, the draft provided by Unity here, there's not a lot of Pokemon that can really access the Mew unless they go for it like in a jet play. The Buzzwole doesn't have that mobility to really get on. So let's see how it goes, though. For our first game of the day, Kello, we do have Italy on the purple team rocking up with that Lapras going that top path against Unity here with the Torchic going to the central area to get that level 5 for that early game.
Yeah, it makes sense. You want to try get that Torchic online ASAP, but it's interesting to see on the mini map. You can see both of those supporters going and helping out those central laners. So it looks like Hooper has taken that red buff along with that Gossy Fleur as well. So just providing those extra little bit of slows. They come into combat with each other earlier on.
Yeah, and I'm really keen to see how this top path fight actually goes, because Lapras is actually quite annoying at the start, as you know, the whirlpool just going to go through and deal so much damage, as well as that secure potential as well. But obviously, this Buzzwalls is looking for that level 5, and the Combustion's already on top there, Kello, just so that they can get this Buzzwall high up as soon as possible for that fight.
Oh. But look at that, Dodrio able to quickly dunk it in their points along with the Swinub and the Mew as well. So we do have Italy at 39 points to 0, giving Klaus some much needed attack weight stack. Not stacks, but it looks like they've quickly pivoted up into the top path, and we have a 4v4 brawl that depleted really quickly, and it looks like everybody's just going to pivot away back to their respective lanes now.
Yeah, and looking at this bot path there, Muji just managed to get out there away from the Ice Fang. I think Italy really wanted 2 bites out of that cake. But speaking of that, they do go back in for more Kello, and they're able to get some more dunks in, and that's going to be 75-0 so far. So a very aggressive, effective start for Italy so far.
Oh, but you know what? The action isn't going to stop here, Fu, as Italy is looking for an invade. Did we actually have that Eldegoss picking up that red buff? Or is that the one that they had from their own central area?
Oh, that's true, but they might have gotten actually. A bit of time has passed there, but we can see more Lapras against Buzzwell action. Meanwhile, these 8 minutes Altaris and Swablu is going to be soaked out by Dodrio over here. Finally, we do have a Blaziken though online for Unity, so that's going to be fantastic to go up against to help out this Buzzwall, because I think Lapras against Buzzwall is such an interesting matchup so far.
Gosh, that is absolute cinema right there. Using the eject button with the overheat combo to take down that Dodrio, and Lapras is insane. Using a great blaze kick to push back that Eldegoss and pick themselves a 3 KO streak. That is a salute to salute right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And all these birds going on the side of Unity as well. I mean, it's just such a fantastic response to the aggression that Italy has brought out here. Mew looking to probably get some vision and pivot down to the bottom path there, where members of, I guess, Italy are just, combining together. And that's something great about Hooper, right? I was just going to say, Unity had so many players in that top path, but a simple Hooper highway just brings everyone down here for this abasement Regice.
Yeah, it is slowly getting chipped away. Trevenant trying to zone on in using their wood hammers. We do have that Piloswine that is super duper low. Nonetheless, they still get a chance to take down that Blaziken. No reset for the Trevenant or the Hooper as they end up getting eliminated, and Italy have walked away with that Reg Ice buff.
That was an insane eject Ice Fang by the Piloswine to confirm that KO and then evolve to become a Mamoswine. I mean, I love seeing damage defenders in this game, and we get 2 of them here. As the Lapras is just so chill against the Buzzwall, it's actually got nearly 2-level lead on this Mosquito Pokemon, and it's just not afraid at all.
No, it's just soaking up all of that damage. It has popped that Unite just to give it a bit more shielding so it can just continue ramming on into Unity country here. Using that Perish song. They're so close to getting taken down, but they finally get finished up by Miraidon's Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, the range is quite insane on this, and Dodrio with the Tri-Attack looking for the opportunity. The Mamo will pick off Hooper. That's massive. No portals for them for a little bit of time as they continue to push on here. I mean, Dodrio doing a fantastic job just to do damage with the Tri-Attack and picking the exact moment to go in. Dunks are coming through from Italy on top. They do manage to break Kello as the Mew has this boosted combo, and the Beam just manages to not pick off the Trevenant as the Hooper portal will be able to save them. I mean, this is just scrim against scrim, fight against fight at the moment in the enemy central area.
Look, we did have Tano say that Italy like to play aggressively, and I've got to say they are definitely demonstrating that aggression. We do have Lapras and Eldegoss dealing with this Regieleki, who is on half HP, but there's no one from Unity Country in sight to actually go and contest that. Buzzwell does end up getting taken down on that bottom path, as we saw on that mini-map. Now, while this Regieleki has been taken, that is going to distract some of those members from Unity Country because they have to deal with it. But they do have that Hooper portal on hand.
Yeah, they do. And I think, speaking of Hooper portals, though, it's so great that Italy has broken both the tier 1 pads of Unity here, because that means that, obviously it nerfs that ability to go in through the portal a little bit more. But more action starts again. Perisol will be able to execute Blaziken there, and the Lapras is looking for more there as the Buzzle is trying to grab in. The Elder Gods will crash down to save this Lapras, but it seems like they just want to either damage farm or just delay the 2 members of Unity to come down for this base ice again. As the Miraidon Unite's going to go through and potentially, yes, they will secure it for their team there. So Unity obviously getting a little bit of levels there, as well as that regen of health. I mean, we talk about the nerf to Miraidon. The charge beam still does so much damage there, Kello.
Oh, it's just the range that it's able to provide, but the fact that you have Thunder being laid on the ground to just chase on down, it is so annoying to deal with. But otherwise, the point board right now, 275, 237. We do have Buzzwell being able to dunk in 14 points, but Hooper does end up getting denied. Lays down that portal, but unfortunately, it is a little bit too late as Mamoswine was able to finish the job there. Oh, the full heal through!
Oh my god, the full heal. We talk about how important full heal is here with the Dojo triple trample to go through to actually knock out the Buzzwell for their team. I mean, this fight has turned it from a one-sided of Unity Country into a aggressive pushback by Italy there. Another Trevor not going through the portal was massive for Italy to make that pick for them as well. Blaziken got a few dunks at the bottom, but obviously the points are on the side of Italy, and it looks like the levels will be 2 as the Charging going to go through and poke out some members of Italy. But I mean, some of these fights just seem to be so unnecessary at the moment, Kello, as this Blaziken is looking to 1v3, just not good enough against the other guys.
No, there wasn't the backup there, but I guess, sometimes you've just got to int for those stacks. I believe that was in their description
Italy.
there. It was Italy that had that, my bad. But yeah, having the extra AOS energy on the floor allowed Blaziken to get in those extra bit of stats before that final stretch. So just to give it a little bit more of that boost, sometimes you've just got to, take that KO timer. At least it's the reset. But 20 seconds left until then. We do have another Regieleki for members of Unity Clash. I hear the 5th is going to be Miraidon to join the party. Mamoswine is going to decide to leave that, not looking to get caught out during this time because it is close here, Fu.
Yeah, it's close for that Rayquaza 2 spawn. I do want to see this Buzzle and Trevenant stick very close to the Miraidon, because right now, Dojo has been insane to put so much pressure on that electric bike Pokemon. As the Charging going to go through, poke out a little bit of Mamoswine, but Italy has so much Ray Pit control so far, and they're really funneling Unity onto that top side where that Lapras is. And look at this, the 68 is going to bring the score a little bit closer, but the onus is still on Unity to make a play to take this Rayquaza fight and potentially win the game number 1 of today's clash.
Yeah, there's still 103 points of difference here. So Unity Country need to try and find a pick. Lapras, though, has decided to go out on a limb and target that Miraidon with that Perish Song and Unite Move combination. Now is their chance. There's the time. We have the Phantos Forest coming on out through to give that Trevenant some shields, but it is just an absolute mishmash of moves right now, as we do have Buzzwell getting taken on down, and HP levels are about half.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tug of war, but it is Italy that's pulling on their side, and really getting a KO streak of 3 from the Dojo means that they're once again just looking at this Blaziken for the final KO for that ace for their team. That is going to be a team wipe of Unity Country, and Italy looking very strong in this game number 1, looking just to secure uncontested of this Rayquaza. Lapras getting it, Potato absolutely a menace there, running at the Miraidon, as you said.
Yeah, and there we go. The 100 goes in from Zervis on the Elder Gods just to widen that gap even further, along with another hundo in that top path. I mean, even with Italy still having their tier 1 left, there's 15 seconds left to go. Buzzwell and Hooper are out of the party right now, and I think that is safe to say game 1 goes to Italy.
Yeah, game number one indeed. And just I guess I'm just so in awe of the Ice Fang that I guess Mamoswine has been able to use all throughout the game. It was just so integral for anyone coming close to their team. And the stun duration is actually quite long here, Kello. So anyone that's looking at the engage can obviously get a free pick there. But Klaus getting that MVP, I mean, the amount of pressure it put on the back line for Unity was just really, really crazy. And I mean, it's just when you have something at the back of your mind, having a dojo running at you, and then it turns out to be a Lapras as well. I mean, things are quite difficult for Pepster there for sure.
Honestly, I've got to give it to Klaus there. That moment where they went in to engage with a fight and timing that full heal
The full
perfectly. I
heal,
believe
yeah.
it ended up dodging, was it the Trevenant Hall or the hammer?
Yes. Yeah.
The fact, like, just the big brains that Klaus had there to time it so perfectly. But you can see, looking at the graph, that Italy had this match down pat. Nonetheless, though, we did have a Reg Ice going over to either side along with that Reggie Alecki. But, I mean, it's all a fight for that Ray. And once that Ray Quasar was secured by Italy, it was done and dusted.
Yeah, and I think Trevenant had an absolute insane, I guess, combination there with its Corn Leech, the Woodhammer, and also the Phantom Forest that came out. But it just wasn't enough firepower left with the Miraidon getting knocked out. And I think that was the plan all along for Unity Country to get something like an engage, and then while it's stunned up, the charge beam just rips everyone to shreds. But unfortunately, the Lapras Express, I mean, just you save it for the best moments, right? Whether you want to go in for a cheeky dunk or a just an unstoppable force of a knock up onto that Miraidon. I mean, that's something definitely I think Unity will take into account going into this game number 2. And let's see what the bans are. Seems to be quite similar to before with the Zorak getting banned straight away from Unity.
Yeah, well, we actually do have a switch in sides here as well. So Unity Country is going to be on that purple side, Italy on the orange. Glaceon. We didn't actually see Glaceon in the last match at all being picked nor banned. So this is an interesting choice by Italy, even though Glaceon was one of those Pokemon to receive a buff in the recent patch.
Yeah, it's a maybe they're adapting to a possible response by Unity. Obviously, we had double defenders that Italy pulled out before, the Mamoswine and the Lapras. So maybe they're like, oh, if Unity sees it to be quite effective against them, they might pull out the Glaceon. So we'll see how the strategy works there. But Hooper Band's quite interesting for sure. But that's going to allow Muji to lock in that Umbreon first pick prior, which is very, very popular for a lot of the regions here. But yet again, double green backgrounds possible for Italy.
Yeah, we were talking in that previous round how Umbreon is the second most picked up Pokemon during UEC series. Eldegoss is actually at the top of that leaderboard, and Mamoswine is third. So interesting to see that, getting rid of that Eldegoss. Are we going to end up seeing ourselves another Mamoswine pick? But Clefable. Clefable is a supporter that you don't really see very often. What are your thoughts on why Zervis has locked this supporter in?
Yeah, I mean, Clefable is an interesting pick there. I'm actually quite interested to see whether they do run like a death ball kind of comp. I think a lot of the teams that like Clefable, they like to clump up together and become this I mean, just a ball of unstoppable force, right? And maybe that's why they banned Glaceon as well, because Glaceon with the Curse Incense and the Spears could be quite a counter towards something like a Clefable. Something interesting, talking about another pink blob here, Kello, is the Blissey is making a comeback. And perhaps we might get a Safeguard Blissey because we have a possible wish coming out from the Umbreon already. And with a Safeguard and Helping Hand, that really allows something like a Zacian or even a Water Bear to absolutely pop off. So I'm excited to see what Apple actually goes here with its duo Sunny Love.
Honestly, thinking back to the Shifu Water Bear days in the
Yeah.
flux zone, having a Blissey by its side, especially if it does have that safeguard, it can just run on down and it pretty
Yeah.
much seems unstoppable. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see whether it does end up going for that Wicked Blow or the Surging Strikes build there. But yeah, you're talking about a snowball, death ball, wrecking ball comp here. We have the Blaziken and the Buzzwole over on the side of Italy, paired up with that Lapras and Mew once again as that range damage with the experience share. So, I mean, the play of the game for Italy here would just be to stick together, I would say. But I don't know. Do you think that Unity Country have answered back with a comp to deal with that on their own?
Yeah, I mean it's a tough call at the moment, and looking at the Oshifu, it did have the wicked blow or single strike build so far. So perhaps they're annoyed, with the fact that you can just single out with a one Pokemon. Obviously, they have the ability to either pick off the Mew if they need it, or maybe something like the Blaziken, which is probably going to be that insurance policy for that secure on the side of Italy there. But only time will tell. I did see a Venu pick there though, which I think is very smart considering that there is that Clefable on the opposite team. If you have Curse and Sense on something like a Sludge Bomb Beam, and you know they're all going to be bunched up, it could be a good counter as well. But game number 2, obviously we have one game to Italy already. So this is, I guess, do or die for Unity Country, and I'm keen to see how they adapt to that situation and whether they're going to be resilient in this game number 2.
Yeah, and if Italy do end up taking this match, they're either going to go up against Germany or the UK in that next bracket. But we are going to have an earlier dunk this time round. Going into that bottom path, I believe. So 8 points on the board for Italy already, making sure to get those stacks in because Lapras is running Eos Cookie. I guess that's why it was so tanky in that previous round and was just so hard to take down.
Yeah, Lapras opting for the bottom path here, and it's so, I guess, refreshing to see a Blissey and a Clefable go off with their top path counterparts. Normally we see that Eldegoss and Hooper, and obviously both of those supporters are banned out from this game, and we have a double rotation coming out from Italy. The coaching is already available for the Mew, and it's going to be a 4v3 action there, and a lot of the experience actually going to go to the guy of Italy there with that push from the Combustion. The Sacred Sword not finding its mark, unfortunately, and Lapras, I think, is just not worried at the bottom path there, and I think it's just so smart, right, from Italy, sending something like a Lapras down in bottom path because they know it can hold its own in that lane by itself.
Yeah, not getting taken down just yet, being able to utilize that pad for some healing and shielding. However, I don't think they're able to secure any wild Pokemon for themselves while we do have that Mew and the Combuskin in that central area. And I guess that's a benefit of having Mew with that experience shares, just able to help Blaziken come online. And level 7 before those middle birds is actually huge here.
Yeah, it is definitely massive. It does have that overheat to kind of soak up all these experience available, but it seems like it's going to be uncontested. So, I mean, no worries there. Buzzwole getting that level 6 is pretty massive as well, as the Clefable is just looking to make it back to pad before this single strike Urshifu has something to say about it. I guess the rest of Italy has now, converged on top as well. So, another possible 3v3 here, Kello.
Yeah, 3v3, but we can see on the minimap, Umbreon and Mew are on the race to see who can make it up to the top path, as we do have Urshifu and Buzzwole brawling on out. There's still 8 seconds left to go until those birds. Oh, we're going to see a knockout. Umbreon ends up getting taken on down off the map. So that is going to hinder them a little bit further, but Italy aren't going to stop. They're going to ignore those birds and instead chase down this Urshifu, who has actually made a quick escape.
Yeah, the eject proving to be very useful there, but I don't think the action stops as 3 members of Italy are just running into the central area of Unity Country here, and oh my gosh, the Wicked Blow trying to pushing in, but just delaying the inevitable as it will also go down. This Blaziken, like you said, hit level 7 quite early, but it has hit that level 9 as well, Keller. So definitely Cloud's doing fantastic. It's not on Dojo this time, but I mean, the Blaziken is definitely showing off.
No, and the fact that it's able to switch those stances as well, just be able to pop out those combinations now that it has access to its Unite move. Italy has broken that tier 1 pad. They're at 168 points. Currently to 0 on the side of Unity Country. However, we do have that Registeel being picked on up from them, so that is a good benefit. Allowing Zacian to now have their Unite move along with Venusaur, reaching level 9 too.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Zacian will be able to rip this in time, not too much pressure there, but I am aware that bottom path there could have another engage if they want to siege this tier 1 pad, because we have all members of Italy looking to converge here. Lapras Express goes through, knocks up, and gets blocked by the Umbreon though, as the Lapras is just in the flux zone running at the Venusaur. The Venusaur has to keep the beams off the screen at the moment just to stay in the playing field. The Buzzle is with a huge grab though. Blissey gets KO'd but gets the Unite move on the Urshifu before that happens, as the Mew will Unite to quickly get out of this scenario. I mean, obviously, Italy had that push and the break Hello. Oh my god, Zacian going for more though. Beforehand, the beam's gonna come through with a Venusaur. I was just gonna say, Italy had a fantastic push on the bottom path there, breaking that pad, but it's actually gonna be Unity that comes out on top with both the KOs and a response break as well.
The question is that a price worth paying for? The fact that Italy pretty much got team wiped by Unity Country, that is going to provide them with so much comeback experience. We now have a Zacian and a Venusaur at level 10 and now overtaking the levels of Italy. I mean, also Unity Country, they have all of the comeback experience over on their side, considering those tier 1 pads are gone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of pads, Italy definitely has that advantage in points as well. Another engage. These teams are just fighting it out any chance possible. Blissey so low. Urshifu using its Unite move just to save the Blissey to one-shot the Blaziken as well. But it has to, I guess, get out of the Buzzle onslaught. But the beams from Venu are just going to be so strong against Buzzle, as they're going to be chasing it down, getting that KO as well. As Zacian, blue Pokemon against this Lapras, the Ice Beam stunning them out of the way with this Porker Fable, just trying to keep everyone sustained. And that's going to give an opportunity for Unity to rip this Registeel, hopefully, before the Blazing comes through. The beams are just going to be good enough to go through, and all of Italy are now just dropping like flies. They're so low. Someone has to deal with this Venusaur, because those eject beams are popping off. Another KO for Unity. Mew has to be sent scrambling there, unfortunately. I mean, this is a huge comeback for Unity indeed. 2 incredible fights here, Kello, that has been won by their side, and they definitely have the levels with a level 13 Zacian already.
I think that just goes to show the determination that Unity Country have right now. Just being able to look at that whole board and figure out what they can do. I mean, it's not over yet. We still have just reached that 3-minute 30 mark. Italy still have the lead in points, but we already have a level 13 Zacian on the board. And you know what? The fighting isn't going to stop, as we have Zacian and Umbreon looking to take down this Buzzwole. Umbreon has decided to land that final blow with their Unite move, and they're going to continue marching on forward as well, as it's only Mew left to defend this top tier 1 pad.
Yeah, what a great snowball it seems like coming out from Unity as well. And the teamwork between the Umbreon and the Zacian take out the Buzzwole as well. Blaziken also went down in that fight. I'm just seeing a huge, double level 13s and a 14 on side of Unity there, but things could be a little bit more interesting if they can quickly do this Regieleki in time for that requires plenty of time available, it seems. 40 seconds to go. And I think Unity's done something really smart. They're not pushing this at all, Kello. They're going back to make sure they secure all those wild Pokemons on their side, and possibly we can see a level 15 Zacian going to that requires pit.
Well, yeah, 25 seconds left to go until the big green dragon does spawn, and it's only the Zacian that has a yellow dot above their head, so they definitely need to prioritize that. Otherwise, looking at the opposite side, Lapras and Clefable are also missing theirs. Blaziken doesn't count because, I mean, it has that low cooldown. But you know what? We're going in for a bit of an early fight here, as we do have some beams shooting across the map. Lapras is quite low, does end up getting pushed back and forth by the Umbreon, taken down by the snarl of the Umbreon, and we do have the isolation because of the Blaze Kick, but Blaziken ends up getting taken down. Oh my goodness, Fu. Now it's just a game of cat and mouse. Buzzwole trying to make an escape and punch on back, as Rayquaza is at a quarter HP right now.
Oh my god, it's up to the Mew against the Wicker Blow here, but you get stunned. It's only the Zacian, don't forget, it has its Unite move available too for that Secure as well. And this is a comeback that we did not anticipate looking at the start of the game, but Unity Country has played so well there, winning all those mid-game to late-game fights as well. Blaziken obviously has that damage coming out from the Blaze Kick, but it is just not going to be good enough, as 300 burgers will go in for Unity. And I mean, 1 minute and 12 seconds to go. We can't speak too early, but by the way it seems, definitely we have a huge lead coming out from Unity.
Oh, but we do have 2 members of Unity down. Blissey KO counter is 25 seconds. All members of Italy are up. Looks like they're just going to collaborate together. Look to see if they can just farm back any sort of unite move that they can to go and make one last final hurrah on this top tier 2 pad.
Here we go. All 5 members of Italy are now going to be converging on the T2. They need to score a whole lot more than 100. So Shifu there just to make sure that we can get some sort of, I guess, damage through. But speaking of damage, the beam from off the screen will be able to chunk out a whole lot members of Italy. And they're going to be dropping one by one. Blazing goes down. Lapras goes down as well. But it does get traded with the Venusaur going down as well. I mean, 3 members down for Italy now. I guess the mount is a bit too high to climb as 10 seconds remains on the clock. What an incredible performance by Unity there to bring it to a decisive game number 3 scenario. This is the action I like to see, Kello, at 5 a.m. OCE time.
Oh my god, my poor neighbors right now. I am yelling. Oops. Um, but just these matches are absolutely insane, and we can see why these teams have made it this far in the competition. I mean, we are 1 apiece. The action isn't going to stop here, Fu.
No.
So going on into this next match, but we have Zarshan picking up that MVP. Looking at Zervis's healing, 92. I mean, Sunny Love with the 85k healing as well. But you know what? I mean, Zarshan, it received nerfs, didn't it? I believe it received nerfs in the latest patch. Were those nerfs enough?
Yeah, I don't think 9Apple actually updated their Pokemon Unite app, so they're still playing on the older version. That's why they've been doing so much damage. No, but for real, I guess just the prowess of how good they are on that Pokemon, and using the Unite moves at certain moments just to either get an important KO or go for the secure. And I think the pick on Klaus there at the raid fight just meant that they were so much more confident securing that Rayquaza, being that there was only Osu on the Mew to really counter that. And I mean, I was panicking for Unity for a bit because of the Blissey not having their Unite move up, Kello. And just as the engage went in, the Blissey ticked over to its Unite move, united the Urshifu in time, and Salute obviously just popped off with the Wicked Blow as well. So fantastic game number 2. And I think this is why these teams are, I guess, so competitive, because it really comes down to wire and some decision making in some of these games.
Yeah, it all comes down to that decision making. I guess some have compared Pokemon Unite to a game of chess, right? Having a look at the board. Okay, what's on hand? What do we need to do? The fact that they were able, to win those team fights, take 2 Registeals off the table just to give him that extra edge going into that. It was definitely quite that comeback play, and I am so excited that we have a round 3. But folks, before we do have that round 3, we are going to take ourselves a quick break, run some ads. Also, shout outs to Nouns who have sponsored this event. They do actually have a merch line available in the store, so I'm sure we'll end up popping that up on the screen for you to have a squiz. And if you use Unite at the checkout, you get 10% off.
Final game, it is 1 apiece between Italy and a Unity country. I mean, what a note to end on beforehand. I can't wait to see what this game 3 has to bring here, Kello, as we quickly head on in very, very soon.
No, we wouldn't expect anything less from the lower bracket quarterfinals. So it is just an all-out brawl comp. And I'm actually really surprised as well. We've talked a bit about the latest patch and all of that, and the meta shifts that are happening. I mean, Lapras making a comeback. I was actually expecting more special attackers to be picked on up. I mean, we've already seen the previous seasons that it's been quite that melee-based, brawly type comp. But I feel like this meta is still very prevalent, despite, Glaceon, Espeon, even Gardevoir receiving those buffs.
Yeah, you make a good point indeed, but at the same time, although these attackers got buffed, they also managed to I guess, amp up the damage on something like a Greedent and your Lapras as well, right? So for these attackers, they're really shy away from the main bulky action that happens a lot of the times. I think having something like a Greedent run you down is probably a little bit scary. But speaking of things that can run you down, Lapras getting a ban is probably expected, but quite surprising though. On our side, I guess just the fact that Lapras is such an integral bit of a lot of these teams that we watched today. But Buzzsaw and Urshifu both banned out from Italy as well. That means Zacian will be picked up by Potato as their first pick of this game number 3.
Did we turn back time back to
Back to,
2023
yeah.
Worlds? I feel like that was back when we last saw Lapras at the top of the meta. So to see a Lapras ban at this day and age, that is absolutely wild. But I guess it's just going to show the strength that it has. Nonetheless, we were talking about this. Defender pool right now is looking so healthy, so much variety. So it isn't going to bother either of these teams. We have Unity Country picking up Trevenant, and Mamoswine has been led on out and is going to be selected by Italy once again, followed up by that Hooper.
Yeah, Kree again on the Mamoswine again. We saw how effective it was, but it looks like it's going to be rocking that XP share this time. So maybe taking a step back from that, I guess, attack defender role that it had in that game number 1. We have a Lucario, though, for the first time today, rocking that attack. So I do assume it's probably going to be something like a Power Up Punch Lucario for that secure with the Mew as well. And I think Power Up Punch is just so good going in against like hard CC comps that perhaps a Sacred Sword and a Ice Fang can provide. It definitely gives it a little bit more, I guess, security in that late game scenario as well. But another, I guess, 2 evolutions will join the fray as well for both of these teams. Italy picking up Glaceon, and also we've got the Leafeon coming out from Unity.
I'm so excited to see this Glaceon. Osu are rocking it. They have run Mew the previous 2 matches, which was running that experience share. So this time we have the defender and the supporter running those experience shares this time round. But I have also noticed they have opted for that eject button instead of, say, a Shedinja doll, because, I mean, those icicle spears don't actually stop when you have that you pop yourself in that Shedinja doll. But we'll see how well that fellow evolution is able to handle the Glaceon shards.
Yeah, I think it might be the evolution meta once again. Although last game we only saw an Umbreon, but this game is full of these early early game Pokemon. I mean, you talk about Shed Doll, and I think Shed Doll could have been good as well, considering the fact that we have a Leafeon that's probably going to be just pressing its Unite button on that blue evolution. However, you got to think about the, I guess, the Lucario potential, right? If it has an eject, it probably can get out something like a possible pup coming in through. And I guess it depends what Osu is comfortable with as well. But I'm with you. I'm very excited to see how this Glaceon plays. I hope it plays the Icy Wind set, but, both of these sets look very, very good from that patch. And we're going to have an Eevee going into the central area for Unity to start this game off.
Yeah, this is a game 3 of the losers quarterfinals. Whoever ends up winning this match will either go up against Germany or the UK in that next set, which will actually be featured tomorrow. But we are going to have just the same old song and dance for the beginning. Leafeon has decided just to secure that red buff and that Xatu and head up into the top path to create some pressure.
Wow, Lucario just managed to live through that engagement against the Zacian. Obviously, it does want that level 5 ASAP. I love the fact that Leafeon did an early ambush there to see whether they can get any picks there. Obviously, these teams are so attuned to something like a gank. But speaking of gank, though, we have action going on to this bottom part there. A huge just double KO to start this game off for Italy will mean that Klaus gets insane amount of stacks in the bottom part there, upping the damage for that late game as well. And I think Swineup is just such a good pick in that early portion as well, considering you can CC so much of the members off through. And possible more KOs? No, the Zacian quickly went back through the pool that they hello.
Yeah, no KOs up in that top path. However, pretty sure all of that experience ended up going to the side of Italy down in that bottom path. Hooper Portal, just by a millisecond, was able to escape despite being on such a minimal HP, able to come and join the fight once again. Combuskin putting the pressure on that Eldegoss, wasn't able to pick up that KO. And you know what, Eldegoss can't really do much except stand there and throw a few hits here and there with two people pressing on through. But look at that, Zervis trying to see if there's any candy. I mean, even though Trick or Treat is already over, I guess it was a trick because, well, there's no blue buff there.
Yeah, just getting vision for their team, and all those birds are going to go on the side of Italy. I mean, yet again, Italy has proven to be so aggressive in the start of this game. And Lucario, though, obviously getting some stacks in. The Zarshin just going to come through, going to get backed up by this Hooper, though. What a massive possible stun by them. Lucario may go down here. Just managed to go back to this nice citrus berries, and I think the Zarshin will get punished now with the Leafeon coming up in good time. Salute, obviously getting that KO is quite massive. They are well on their way, Killer, to get that Unite move for that basement Reggie fight very, very soon. But for now, we do have 3 members of Unity, maybe hovering at the top space, looking to get these birds as well.
Or overheat charge to just soak up all of those. Another Hooper portal to just give them that extra bit of reset. I mean, the benefit is, yeah, Zervis does have that Hooper portal in hand. Need they pivot down into that bottom path? As you can see, it has. They have done that, and Hooper and Blaziken are going to take a trip through the hyperspace whole bus.
Yeah, they quickly come down here. We do have Icicle Spear Glaceon, so the damage is definitely going to be coming through. The Emerald 2-step goes through, but it's going to be a little bit too early. But the Blaziken able to secure it for their team as well. Trevenant goes down immediately. That is looking very bad for Unity at the moment, with a poor Mew looking to defend this pad. I think giving up is probably the better option there. We have a massive 30 overdunk for Italy there, sending them over the 100 mark in terms of the points, and only 4 points available for Unity here. I mean, I guess it's just the one stack that Lucario got on the top half.
Yeah, this is a massive lead. We already have 2 level 10s on the side of Italy as well, and the action isn't going to stop as they're going to go and invade and keep the pressure on in this central area. You have Leafeon getting taken down. Eldegoss ends up getting picked up by the Ice Fang, and Blaziken locks the secure, and Glaceon also picks up another KO on the Trevenant as well. So this is just the snowball comp that is coming in from Italy, as we do have Hooper also dunking in 27 points.
Yeah, to add on to that, Zarshin also was able to do that Regieleki while all of that was happening. A massive beam from Mew though, but obviously Mew is still a little bit under level there. They do let the Regieleki in, probably just going to afford the, I guess the 18 overdunk coming out. Blaziken just thinking about whether they should actually go for the dunk there. We do have Hooper to quickly dunk in. No, it's going to be the Blaziken, but another engage is going to go through. Glacial will pop the Glacial stage to just get those spears going as they lock onto the Trevenant. Oh my gosh, the ice combo of a Kree again, picking them up with that Ice Fang into the spears. I mean, if this is the last thing you see going to the home pad, that is definitely going to be traumatic as you go up against them once more.
The amount of map control that Italy have right now, considering Unity have both of their tier 1 gone, it just allows them to just make their way through, steal those buffs, and just starve Unity country even further. Although, interesting play here, as we can see 5 members of Unity up in that top path, looking to make a move on this tier 1 and deciding to leave that basement Reggie. But you know what? Italy, they're on the job. They're aware of this, and we actually have members here ready to defend.
Wow, a Hooper unbound while the portal was going through to make sure it's safe through that unbound was quite a mechanical prowess there for sure. Lucario maybe getting caught out here, has to quickly dash out, not level 11 at the moment, so it still can get stunned regardless if it has that power-up punch up. More fighting in this bottom part there, as the basement Reggie will be a Reg Steel though, and the Leafeon, not a lot of HP available, tries to jump on the Glaceon, will be able to quickly knock them out though, so perhaps this is the turn of event. No, Blaziken able to secure that Reg Steel once again. Everything is going on the side of Italy at the moment. Oh my god, Muji with a massive Horn Leech maybe can stay sustained, but there's just not any attackers looking at it right now. It is struggling, it is screaming, please follow up on my Horn Leeches. But with the Aura Cannon coming through as well, just not able to save his teammate, unfortunately, by Apple over here. Oh, as the Sacred Sword's going to go through. I mean, these teams love to fight, Kello, and I'm all here for it. But, you know, when you are low in terms of the levels, it's probably better just to back away and do some more Pokemon.
Yeah, looking at the mini map, we do have a lot of yellow dots spawn on up on the sides. We do have another Reggie Alecki that is up in that top path as well, but no members of Unity Country have Unite moves on hand, and neither do Italy, actually. But 3 members of Italy are going to take the moment to shred down this Reggie Alecki and look to just create a bit more pressure on the side of Unity Country. But I've got to give it to that Glaceon. Holy moly, those shards are shredding once again.
I mean, it's definitely going to be the Pokemon for Unity to look for to get that pick off if they want to have any chance to come back into this game. I mean, the top pad is now left on 8. I mean, they do have some good counter dunks in the bottom part there, but, you know, it is like, what, 232 or so points differing between both of these teams here, with the Rayquaza spawning in about 30 seconds. It is not over yet, right? We always say when there is a Ray, there is a way, but they definitely need to take out that Glaceon if they want to find that way to come back into this game.
I mean, yeah, Glaceon being that threat, but also Blaziken level 14. Mind you, we do have Leafeon on the side of Unity at level 14 as well. So it's definitely going to have to chime that Emerald 2-step at the perfect moment, maybe more as a finishing blow rather than an engage, considering how squishy it is. So I guess it's going to have to come down to Muji, whether they can try and get an isolation with their Horn Leech.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mamoswine obviously just trying to get vision, maybe some control here as the Lucario is looking to just enrage the Rayquaza for this moment. Both teams have really good secure potential. Look at Potato. It is all the way in the enemy's central area. I'm not sure whether Unity actually knows that. It might get an insane flank on this Mew if possible. Does anyone have vision of disaster at the moment, Keller?
It's just picking up all of the Aeos energy, trying to make sure that it gets the maximum damage come the time to use that Unite move. Lucario has poked that Green Dragon, and here we go, Food. The fight is going to start. Eldegoss pops their Unite, trying to heal up their team, but we have no members just going down yet. Glaceon, their target, has been eliminated, but their fellow Evolution has also been taken out too, Food, as we do have members trying to back on up, get a reset. Trevenant is going to return back to base, but we have Blaziken on the tail of the Lucario, use it! The close combat on the clay doll and getting hit in the back by the overheat. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate event there. But Mew did manage to get a few little dunks in there. It's still going to be on the side of Italy, though, in terms of the score lead. But a lot of Unites, like you said, were used up. Actually, all of them were used up. So it is going to be a raw fight, 5v5. No, make that 5v3 as the Glaceon is now here to play with the KO streak of 2. The spheres are still going through. Mew has to quickly run away on 1 HP there. Leafeon comes back though. They defeated their fellow Evolution. This could be the turnaround. There's 20 seconds left. Someone needs to score on the side of Unity. There is not going to be any rip potential. Unless Lucario is now doing it. 30 seconds left, Callo. Will Italy be able to take this game number 2? It seems likely. Let's see what happens. Overheat knocks out Lucario.
Wait, Mew's rushing. Mew is rushing, but I mean, the amount of points that went in. Yeah, that's 6 points. Unfortunately, is not going to make a difference. Sorry,
oh my God.
Maybe it might get them MVP.
The MVP.
Yeah, just the absolute scramble there at the end during that Rayquaza fight. But congratulations to Italy for taking that match 2-1. And MVP going to Klaus once again. But you know what? You've got to give it credit to the whole team. Just the synergy that they were demonstrating throughout that whole match. The Ice Fangs from Kiri again were insane. Zervis with their hyperspace holes. I mean, Potato, and even then, Klaus securing not 1 Registeel, but 2. Was it the Registeel? No, it was Regirock first up, and then the Registeel. I mean, look, Italy got all of the objectives.
Yeah. I mean, for most of that game, the point or the score for Unity was just a mere 4. For like what 7 minutes of the game, and it just seemed like Italy had the hand on the wheel for a huge portion of that game and really just controlled how it went. It was really it reminded me of game number 2, where they obviously started off really aggressive as well. But you know, in this game number 3, they kind of pulled the reins back a little bit. They didn't go for too many reckless engagements, and I think that really proved to be really awesome for them because obviously they have the level lead and the points they're going in. And I mean, that Glaceon, when all the dust settles and it came back with the spears, it's over for a lot of the attackers or even the defenders. That is going to be whoever they choose to lock onto them. So I mean, if you guys wanted to see the powerhouse of what Glaceon is now back to be after the Freezing Rush patch recently, that is a show for you all. And I think for those teams watching today in that winners bracket as well, definitely a Pokemon looking to perhaps either take on or ban out of the competition so far.
Well, yeah, we saw it banned on out in that second round, and I think all for good reason. But for Italy, it is time to rest for now as we. Well, I mean, the action isn't stopping just yet, as we do have Germany and UK game coming up next. So whichever one ends up winning that ends up going up against Italy tomorrow. But before that, we are going to take ourselves a quick break.